Alright, what's going on guys? Robert here, and we're gonna get started in just a second. So let me just click the live button on the Facebook Live, and I'm noticing that I'm, saying those words over and over again when I start those live videos. I forgot my name. What's going on guys? Robert here, and today I want to talk about the seven different types of people on peak performance events or spin over the past 3 days, like on the weekend, right? And what I like to do is to kind of like analyze the people that are on those events, right? So I'm looking, at the people from a bird's view, and I started writing down the different types of personalities or the different types of people that I noticed, being on those kinds of events, because I've been on a couple of those events, and I'm calling them peak performance events because I think this is a very fitting name for those kinds of events, because the peak performance events for me are basically events where people go to learn a specific skill or develop in a specific area in their life, right? So this is why for me those are peak performance events. So on this event I have noticed 7 different types of people, and that was just hilarious. Just realizing all those different types. And it started from day 1, and on day 2 and on day 3, I realized that there were a couple of more different types of people. So I want to just talk about all of them once, and what I what I experienced with those personalities in the room, because we had to in the seminar, over the 3 days of the seminar, we had to change a lot of seats, right? So after each break we had to change our seats, so we got into contact, or we had to meet 2 different new people, right? So this is why we got to talk to a lot of people, and that's why I was able to find out who the people are in a better way. So the first type of people that I have noticed being on such events, and by the way, on this event there have been 2, I don't even think that was the least amount of people having been the skeptics. They have this kind of personality, this kind of mentality, that everything that the trainer or speaker says is gonna get first of all denied. This is not the I don't believe you. They have this mentality of, I don't believe you, I don't believe what you say, and I'm very, very skeptical about every word that you say, and skeptical about everything that they say. So this was the first type. And we had this one lady, and I'm not quite sure if she was something that I'm going to be sharing with you as well, about how to manage your money properly, right? And she raised her hand after he explained the system, and she was like, I'm very good at math. That was her first sentence. I'm very good at math, right? So what you're saying doesn't make any sense, because the numbers don't add together to 100%. And he was like, lady, listen, I just explained this exact question to another person. Where have you been? Didn't you listen? Right? So he tried to explain it to her again, and she was kind of not understanding him. And then he told her somebody please explain it to her in the lunch break. We got to move on. So from that moment on, she was very pissed, right? She didn't participate at all, right? And then I only noticed her she was being on the phone all the time, and she didn't even pay attention to whatever he was saying. And I think this is why she didn't understand what he was saying, right? So this is the first type of people, the skeptics. The second type of people out there have been the bored ones, or the unmotivated ones, right? Because on such events, you have to be clapping, you have to be screaming or shouting, you have to be repeating things that he is saying. Obviously you don't have to, but this is what you do to keep the energy high on such events. But those are the people that are sitting there yeah, woo, yeah. And because we had to do a lot of interactions, a lot of different exercises, and if you have this kind of personality next to you, right, the unmotivated ones, and you are yourself very, very high energy, you have a very high energy level, right, and you are just yeah, let's do this, and they're yeah, that sounds great, awesome, right? It isn't a lot of fun to be around those kind of people, right? And this is why when you sit down to a seat and you really look at the people that are sitting next to you, and you better decide very fast if those are the people that you want to be sitting around for the next 1.5 hours, right? So sometimes I looked at them, I was like, nah, I don't think they're like very enthusiastic. Let me just go and sit there, right? So on the other hand, on the other extreme to that are the enthusiasts, right? The enthusiasts are the ones that are like, yeah, let's do this, let's go onto the stage and let's dance. After each break we had to dance. Like, we don't have to dance, but a couple of people were able to go on stage and dance on the stage in front of everybody. And those are the ones that are standing on the chairs to say something or declare something, and they're like very, very high energy. They have like a very high energy level all the time, right? So those are the enthusiasts. Then there are like the unsure ones, or the follow the herd ones, the people that are like looking, all right, is everybody raising their hands? I think I'm gonna raise my hand as well, right? So they are very, very unsure about what they are saying, or they don't have like an own opinion about something, and they just follow the herd. They just follow where everybody else is going, right? So they're like, literally, if everybody were raising their hands, I'm like, okay, we are raising our hands. I'm with you guys. I'm with you. So those are the unsure ones, the follow the herd ones, right? And then there are like the I know it alls. The I know it alls. They're like sitting there. They're listening to everything they say, and because they're like, I'm making good money. What do you have to tell me with that I don't know? What can you share with me that I don't know, right? So, I know that. I've heard about that. Oh yeah, I know about that book. I know about that quote. Those are the people that, they are listening kind of, but they don't, take on the information that is being given by the trainer, and they just think that they know everything that he is saying, and they don't really pay attention that much, right? Then there are the networkers, the marketers, right? And those are the people, obviously, they network a lot. They go to people, they talk to people, they want to pitch the business opportunity they have. And there were like a couple of network marketers, that approach a lot of people. Those are the ones that are putting like their business cards on the tables, in the breaks. And that was a lot, that was funny because, I was standing at a table there, and there were like business cards, and I liked the format of the business cards because it wasn't just like one business card, but it was like a two-folded business card. So he literally had like a couple of bullet points, and it was about how to generate passive income. And he had like a couple of bullet points about, what it means to, have passive income, what kind of freedom are you going to have, right? And so I picked it up just to look at it. And I noticed at the moment that I picked it up, this one person, this guy, came closer to the table. He was like on his phone. And I'm looking at the card. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at the card. And I'm like, you must be Jim, right? Because I noticed that he was like peeking on me from the phone, because I picked up his card. So obviously, for him, it means that I'm interested in, what he has to share, whatever it is, right? So that was very funny. And I told him like, I'm just, looking at the card because I like the style of the card, but not so much, the content inside, because he was talking about investing into crypto and all of that. And so there are like a lot of marketers, right? A lot of network marketers as well. And I'm going to be sharing, the difference between very bad network marketers and good network marketers on such events, because that was very funny as well. And then the last part, or like the last type of person or like personality on such events are the visionaries, the future leaders, right? Those are the ones that are following every single word that the speaker, the trainer says, but instead of just listening to the content that he says, they are also watching how he says it, right? With what kind of like energy